All right. Welcome to the Tuesday night Principal Cairo broadcast from DE and Band of Brothers. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, your esteemed MC for tonight's exciting call with Dr. Vincent Farrar. But before we get there, guys, DE is upon us. I think we're about at the 30-day countdown here. There it is, 30 days left until our fall DE. The leaves will be changing colors. It'll be beautiful in Atlanta at the Marriott Perimeter Center. Great hotel. That's October 23rd to the 26th. Go to lifede.com to get registered. We've got a room block there. If you want to get into the room block, the deadline is October 6th. So we've got under 2 weeks, I believe, then. So you want to get in, get that good deal. Includes some meals, some breakfasts, things like that. It's a good deal. It's the best deal going. So get in on that room block now. Ends October 6th. We've got our Connect groups. Our purple one that I'm a part of has been way more active recently. Been sending videos, inspiring, doing meetings. So we've got purple, yellow, orange, and blue. Get involved with a Connect group. If you're not already on one, let us know, and we will place you on one. It's a great way to stay connected in between DEs. So, guys, it's 30 days till DE. Get registered right now. You want to make sure you'll be there. I was looking at the speaker list. There's just an awesome lineup. You'll definitely not want to miss that. But for tonight, we've got a veteran, a young gun, but a veteran who's been on this call before. Dr. Vincent Farrar is an amazing chiropractor. He has spoken for us at the Florida Chiropractic Society, I believe, many times to rave reviews. His wife, Dr. Bridget, serves on our FCS board, and they have an amazing family, beautiful kids. And I am very excited to hear him share his heart, his philosophy, but also probably some nuggets for you to take home and use in your practice tomorrow morning, if I know this guy correctly. So originally from New York, but now hailing from Jacksonville Beach, Florida, let's give it up for Dr. Vincent Farrar. Take it away, Vinny. Love and appreciate you.
Alrighty, guys. So, thank you, Dr. Brian, for that. I am in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. I get to practice with my amazing wife, Dr. Bridget. We've got 3 kids, 7, 5, and 2. And our whole practice, pretty much our whole life, has been rooted in DE. When I was at Logan Chiropractic College, I was in what felt like the chiropractic desert. And when I just happened to find out about this state association meeting that was happening near Logan, and so me and a group of friends, we went out to the state association meeting, and Dr. Neil Cohen was speaking there, and at the time he was vice president at Sherman, and we were like, man, the message that you were preaching is so different than the message that we're getting at Logan. I want to transfer. I want to go to Sherman and get out of Logan, because we weren't learning any of the stuff that he was talking about. And I remember in the hallway, Dr. Neal was like, you don't need to transfer to Sherman. You need to bring the light to Logan, because all the kids that are at Logan, they need to hear this message. We don't need you to go to Sherman because you're already getting the message. And he's like, if you like this, right at the time, this was probably 2014 or 2015, DE was having an intensive in Kansas City. So Neil was like, if you want this, you should go to Kansas City for the DE intensive. And so me and my friends, we drove over to Kansas City for the DE intensive, and it was amazing. It was the first DE experience that I've ever had. And at that DE experience, Dr. Andy Harding was just like, man, if you guys like this, you need to go to Atlanta to experience the real DE. And so sure enough, that July, we drove down to Atlanta, and at student night of that first DE, that was July of 2016, I met Dr. Bridget at student night. We all were sitting around the stage, and Dr. Bridget was sitting on stage. And who was it? I don't know. So the leader was just like, all right, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. And so Bridget goes up first and she starts spewing the chiropractic gospel. And I was like, man, she is very impressive. And I was like, I'm going to marry her. And sure enough, it was that January we got engaged, we got married the following October. And yeah, our whole practice and our whole life is rooted in DE. And even more recently, we've been going through the 33 principles with our team. And I don't know if this is allowed, but I have some favorite principles. I think principle number one is obviously what everything is founded upon. Everyone loves principle number six. Principle 21, principle 25 is my favorite, that the body will never do anything to harm itself. And so when people come to the office and they're like, my body hates me, like, that's actually not true. Your body will never do anything to harm itself. Principle 31 is awesome. But I think that what I want to talk about tonight is principle 17. Every effect has a cause and every cause has an effect. And we see that in our practices day in and day out. I know last Thursday we saw a boy who came in. He's in high school. He's on the football team, and he fell. He got tackled, and he hurt his hip, and he couldn't run. And he was just like, I want to play tomorrow, but I can't even walk. And so I was like, all right, sit down in the chair. Let's see what's happening. And I adjusted his PIX on the left side, and he got up. And I was like, just go to the parking lot and just run sprints and see how you feel. And he came back in, and he was just like, man, it's life changing. I think his dad said you're a wizard or something like that. But it's just cause and effect. If him falling on his hip causes subluxation, then and the effect is that he couldn't run. If we fix the cause, then we'll change the effect. And so we adjusted him, and he was able to run. And that's obviously the simplest and the easiest stuff that we do in our practice. All the way to this boy Logan that we still take care of. We started taking care of him in 2020. We met him and his mom at an apraxia walk that we were doing a screening at, and his mom brought him in, and he, at that time, he was 2, just turning 3, and he didn't really say anything. And come to find out, during his birthing process, his mom went into labor and he got stuck inside of the birth canal. And the doctors performed an emergency C-section. And as his mom was having contractions, pushing him down the birth canal, they cut her open and pulled him out by his feet and put a bunch of torsion and stress on the top part of his neck, to the point where there was a subluxation that was cutting off life from his brain to his body, not allowing his body to thrive. And in his body, it showed up as apraxia. And we adjusted him twice that first week. And his mom said that Saturday, he said a full sentence for the first time. He said, Mom, my room is clean. And he'd barely spoken before. And then after 2 adjustments, he said a complete sentence. Again, the cause of the subluxation being the birthing process, cutting off life from the brain to the tissue cell, showing up in him as apraxia. And you correct the subluxation, you address the cause, and the effects change. And now his mom was told that he wouldn't speak normally until 9 years old. And again, at the time he was 2, so 7 years. And within 2 years of taking care of him, he had lost his apraxia diagnosis. So 5 years sooner than what the medical system told him would happen. And then in his first year, I think he's in second grade now. By the time he was in first grade, he was all caught up to everything, and you essentially could not tell the difference between him and any of his other classmates. And it's the amazing thing that we get to see day in and day out. And I think I mean, we all have thousands of cases. Another one that comes to mind is this boy Raiden that we take care of, and we met his mom. We were doing a talk about autism and chiropractic, and his mom was like, "We've got nothing to lose. We've tried everything else. Why not?" And he had all this stuff. He was as low functioning as you could think of a child with autism. He came into the office when he was 7. I just saw him last week, and he's now 14. And he, from the time that we met him, he has started speaking. He no longer wets the bed. He can speak in like 3 or 4 different languages and all this amazing stuff. And again, the when you address the cause and fix the cause, then the effects start to change. And so we got him adjusted. And the coolest part of his story is that one night his mom was putting him to bed, and she had done the same thing for 8 or 9 years in a row and never got any response from him. And she said, Raiden, I love you. And she would just go off to bed. And then this one night she puts Raiden to bed. He lays down and she says, Raiden, I love you. And then as she's walking out of the room, he says, I love you, Mom. So for the first time, his mom, at 9 years old, his mom got to hear him say, I love you to her. And just think about the impact both for Raiden, but for the family. And again, we get to do that all day long, because when we are able to address the cause and fix the subluxation and correct the subluxation and let the body do what it's designed to do, the body starts to thrive. And the body thrives, miracles happen. And I think Dr. Steve LaFay said on one of these calls that I am often, oh gosh, I don't want to blow it now. I think he said, I'm often amazed, but I'm never surprised, or something to that effect. And I've used that ever since, where it's just like, it's amazing to have a first row seat to see the stuff that we do, to be essentially the fly on the wall in our practices, hearing the stories that we get to see and hear. But I'm never surprised, because the body is absolutely incredible, and it's amazing. And again, when we get to address the cause of what's happening in the people that we get to take care of, the effects start to change. And the there's a case that I think I'd love to break down with some of you guys at DE next month, where this boy that we're taking care of with autism, his name is Matthew. He would come in, and we do Gonstead, and so every person, we scope him, and we motion, do all this stuff. And he is another boy that we take care of with autism. And when I would scope him, he would be erratic. He wouldn't be able to sit still to be scoped. And so then I figured out with time and seeing him, I was like, if I adjusted T6, which is the main nerve spot of the stomach, then he would be able to sit down in the chair, so I could actually scope the rest of him. And what came about was that every single time he would come in, we would adjust him. He would sit down in the chair, I would adjust T6, and then I would be able to do the rest. And then me and the mom would talk. And what came from it was that I told her, is like, this should not keep showing up the same way. Like, if every time he's coming in and the same T6 is showing up, we're missing something. We need to do something. We need to change something. And with that being the main nerve supply that goes to the stomach, then I would just pay attention to see his diet. And I think she said at the time, like, I have a suspicion that it might be gluten, that she cut out gluten. And sure enough, within like a month of him cutting out gluten, we would be able to scope him immediately from the start and not have to adjust T6. And that point, it might even be a manipulation, just because we couldn't even really tell if it was subluxated. It would just be the thing that would help him calm down. But I think, again, getting to principle 17, if we're going to take care of the cause, what is the cause of the subluxation that the person has in front of us? Because I feel like oftentimes, and I think I'll talk about this in our heads as the chiropractor, is the subluxation can often be mental, where there is stress that is from a mental perspective or an emotional perspective that is surrounding that person all day long. Like Dr. Steve Judson says, it's like rocks in the backpack. They were just wearing and carrying these backpacks, and they're just literally weighing us down, and the stress is overwhelming our nervous system, and it's subluxating us. And we can adjust them and get them connected. But if we never address the rock in the backpack, then they're going to keep being subluxated. And as doctors of chiropractic, we always say that we're doctors of cause. And are we actually addressing the cause by just adjusting them? And we don't do anything else in our practice other than adjust. But I think it's an interesting thing that I've been wrestling with, and I would love to wrestle with it with some of you guys. Just like, what is our responsibility to address the cause of the subluxations that we get to see, that of the people that we get to see in our practice? But tonight I was listening. I've been trying to listen to a bunch of chiropractic greats. The DE radio station has been amazing. So thank you, Dr. Drew, for setting that up and making that happen. But I've been listening to Dr. Sigafus a bunch, and one of the things that he talks about in this, again, the same thing, if we address the cause, we'll change the effect, is that if you want an abundant practice, you have to have an abundant practice in your mind first. And our thoughts drive the results that we get. And if we are thinking about, and this is so true for us, and so this message is for me, hopefully just as much as it is for you guys, where if we think about abundance and faith and principle, then the reward for that, or the effect of that, the cause is our thinking, the effect would be an abundant practice where we get to serve a whole bunch of people, and we get to do what God called us to do, and we get to reconnect God's children to the power that he gave us. But if we think about lack and difficulty and struggle, and fear, then that is what we're going to get. We're going to get a practice that's short of what God has called out for us. And so the thing that I have been focusing on, and the thing that I have realized over the years, is that the oasis that DE was for me in school, when I was in a chiropractic desert, I had attributed the principal to DE, whereas like DE is where I go to get principal. And even as we try to grow DE and tell our friends about DE, the thing that we say is like it's our chiropractic church where we go to get redipped in the principal as we go to swim upstream in our offices to make sure that we stay grounded. And as we have gone to DE now for almost a decade, I have realized that DE for us is not necessarily just about the home of the chiropractic principle, although it's filled with people who are advocates for the principle. It is controlling the cause and effect of our mind to where we go and shed the husks. We then get to step into the greatness that we have inside of us to help build our practices, to help build our communities, to set our eyes on things above rather than the things on this earth. Because when we set our eyes on the things of this earth, we get to see, man, how many visits do we see? What is happening with all these people in the practice? Why isn't X, Y, or Z getting better? What thing do we have to do to change? And it's said from the stage all the time, the only thing that you have to change is you. When you change when you change your mindset, when you focus on what you focus on starts to expand, and you get to experience the practice and the life that God has for us. And particularly in the world that we live in today, the craziness that's surrounding us, it takes, in a crazy world, it takes crazy leaders to step up into the gap to protect God's people from the evil that is surrounding us. And that evil's on a macro scale for sure, but it's also driven into the chiropractic profession. And I think one of the coolest parts about being a part of this DE movement is having people and having leaders in the chiropractic profession that are willing to call other people out on their nonsense, that they're not spreading truth and they're spreading lies, and it's having a gross impact on the profession. And me and both Dr. Bridget, we're hugely passionate about trying to help students, because the students get caught up in all the minutia of what it is that has become chiropractic. But in the same way, the chiropractic that we are living in, the chiropractic that we get to work with, the chiropractic that has been handed down to us has gone through the same cause and effect. And I think one of the best parts, again, of being at DE is now we are trying to, and the movement is trying to address what has caused the effects that we're living in, so we can make chiropractic be able to survive for our grandkids and to be able to survive for the next generation of kids that deserves to be able to have access to chiropractic, but without us being the leaders in our communities, without us having the practices that we want to have, and without us joining together to be able to serve chiropractic in whatever capacity that is for you, the chiropractic that we know of will not be around for our grandkids at the current rate. And so I think the thing that I'm hopefully going to take away from this, and I hope you guys would take away from this, is if you get to control the cause, you get to change the effect. And for our practices and for chiropractic and for our lives, when we think about what we think about and using our innate intelligence as the imagination driver to where we can control what our mind is set on, the thoughts that we're having, from there, then we will change the actions that we take, and then we will be blessed abundantly. And like it says in the Bible, it's just like the fields are white with harvest, but the laborers are few. It's just like, let's focus our minds on how white the fields are with harvest, how great. And I feel like every chiropractor speaker that talks is just like, it's the best time to be a chiropractor. And I don't know, I mean, I've been a chiropractor for less than a decade, but I feel like people are more open to hearing our message now because people are questioning everything. And it is a great time to be a chiropractor because we're going to make it a great time to be a chiropractor. And we focus our minds on the things that we want to achieve and what we want to have happen. Then we're going to get to have the practices that we want to have. We'll get to have the impact that we want to have in our practices, but also in our profession. And so I look forward to being able to speak with you guys and to loving you guys in a month. So join us at DE.
Nice work there, Vinny. Great job, my man.
Thank you.
Well, that was Dr. Vincent Farrar dropping nuggets, dropping gems. Great story. Never knew that about that with Dr. Neil Cohen's, inspiring you. Great share. Enjoyed listening to it. Vincent, you are a rising star in this profession. I so enjoy seeing you at DE. I love your DEUs and anywhere else we can hear you speak, like for the FCS. And It's truly an honor to have you on here, my man. Keep doing what you're
Thank you.
doing, or raising them right over there. And shout out to your rock star wife as well, our FCS board member, Bridget.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday night on the DE Principled Cairo broadcast.